Okay, this channeling is from October 13th, 2009, and it was referenced in the daily quote for October 19th, 2021. Question from the group. Jim, the question tonight is, work has been a source of great catalyst to me for the last few years. It seems that since I've been at this job, person after person has tried to get me fired. In addition, right after I'd had a big heart chakra opening last November or December, the level of catalyst rose hugely. How much of this is caused by external forces versus self-catalyst and karma? What spiritual principles may I think about in considering this issue? Carla channeling. We are those to you known as the principle of Quo. We greet you in the love and in the light of the one infinite Creator, in whose service we come to this circle this evening. It is a privilege and a pleasure to be called to your circle of seeking. We thank you for the honor, and we are glad to speak to the one known as D. However, as always, we would ask that all of those who listen to or read these words exercise discernment, choosing from those opinions which we share, the thoughts that resonate and that seem helpful, leaving the rest behind without a single thought. For in this way, you shall safeguard the processes of your own evolution. And we shall feel that comfort that comes from knowing that we shall not be infringing upon your free will in any way. Thank you for this consideration. My brother, in the spiritual life, there is often a season of fullness and harvest that is followed in its course by other seasons. We would speak in general for some time about the way we see your energy body and the way that we understand the energy body to function. It is a body just as is the physical body, interpenetrating your physical body all along your spine to the top of your head. It is in a constant state of flux, just as is your physical body. We emphasize this particular aspect of the energy body because of your query, which concerns events which occurred after you experienced a great sense of the opening of your heart. When one learns to ride a bike, one never really forgets how, but one can become very rusty. In the same way, once one has experienced the joy and the peace of the open heart, one has been able to see all that there is as interconnected. It is not to be forgotten, and yet neither is it to be held or kept in one open setting. Rather, the energy body is intensely sensitive to incoming catalyst. This is why, so often, one experiences a wonderful opening of the heart, which is unaccountably followed by a series of events that tend to close the heart. Nor is this the action of circumstance or accident. When one has a profound realization, such as you have had, my brother, there is the responsibility which is undertaken as a result of that burst of light, that harvesting of the fruits of seeking. There is an automatic rhythm which comes upon the heels of such a marked experience in the light. It is as if, in this refinery of souls that is the school of life, you have learned a great deal, and that energy within, which dances with your spiritual evolution, shall in the course of time give you the equivalent of a short quiz. Catalysts shall come into your energy body that will have the tendency to close the heart, to constrict and narrow the path of energy through the energy body. It is as though the Creator, or those energies of spirit that are part of the Godhead principle, were offering you the opportunity to examine for yourself if you truly grasped the content of that realization of oneness. The function of this, as this instrument would say, pop quiz, is not to cause you distress, but to aid you in refining, burnishing, and honing your ability to maintain the eyes of love, which were the gift of the realization. It is said in the holy work that this instrument holds dear that it is easy to love the lovable. The challenge is always to love the unlovable. A challenge always is to love the unlovable and to be able to continue in the face of incoming catalyst from an entity, to see that entity as the creator, as your brother or your sister indeed, as your very self. It is often a shock to discover what a fragile hold you have on that realization of oneness and love that at the moment seemed robust and powerful and permanent. My brother, in a way, it is all of those things. You have lost nothing except the apparent comfort of feeling the fullness of love. Were you not in this third density chemical body with its heavy energy and its veil of forgetting, were you instead not in third density but between incarnations, you would know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, all of the ramifications of your catalyst and the truth of the love that is within your truly open heart. Yet knowing beyond a shadow of a doubt these things, because they're yet knowing beyond a shadow of a doubt these things, because there would be no veil were you not an incarnation, the knowledge would be worth little in terms of polarizing you towards service to others. Therefore you choose to come into incarnation. You choose for the veil to drop. You choose to lose sight of that sure knowledge of the way things are beyond this illusion. You wanted to put yourself into an arena where knowledge only came by faith, and where your choices were completely free. My brother, we may say that when one is in incarnation, one feels very alone and isolated within his flesh and bones. It is our opinion that the actual spiritual truth is that you are never alone. Rather, you are in a world of mirrors. Everyone whom you meet mirrors back to you yourself in one aspect or another. How inconvenient to see aspects of yourself that are unattractive. And yet it is helpful to realize that even the most disturbing or difficult relationship offers you a chance to see a part of yourself that you have not looked at least not in that way. When something triggers you or catches you, that is a part of yourself that is as yet unhealed, and that is the source of the triggering. Consequently, your coworkers, as you explained in your query, who have sought to do you harm, have actually given you gifts. They have let you see, as in a mirror, a part of yourself that you need to find. And sometimes, that is the hardest thing, for one does not wish to have such unattractive traits within one's personality. Your opportunity here is to look straight into that mirror and say, "Thank you. I will seek after that shadow part of myself, that self that looks like this, and I will love it, and I will accept it, and I will hold it to me in my heart until it has been redeemed by my love." You see, the catalyst is not so much about anyone else as it is about you. The work that you do spiritually is not so much about others as it is about yourself. When you become able to gaze into such catalyst with gratitude and thanksgiving, you are free of the fear and the anger and other negative emotions that will close your heart. And as you love that shadow in yourself, you find that you can gaze for the first time at such an entity that is attempting to harm you. And you are then able to see past the mirroring effect to the unity betwixt you and the other self and the Creator. You ask what spiritual principles you might use to work upon this particular issue. And we call upon the principle of unity and the principle of polarization. It is often the case, when entities speak of living the life of the open heart, that they may be perceived as being idealistic, naive, and perhaps foolish. And from certain points of view, which, shall we say, are worldly and cynical, there is truth in that statement. But from the standpoint of one who is working in consciousness, the opening of the heart is for those who are courageous and ready to be patient and to persevere beyond all roadblocks and stumbling blocks. For you are seeking to be a tough cookie as this instrument would say. You are seeking to be a dependable, flexible, attentive entity who is witnessing, moment by moment, the love and the light of the one infinite Creator, as it eddies and swirls and creates the dance of life. And all of those who come into your purview dance with you in one way or another. We would almost characterize this as the dance of the spiritual athlete, for there are times, such as your ordeal in your workplace, where not just once, but again and again, the waves strike you and seek to tumble you and put you off balance. And you seek not to stand your ground so much as to cooperate with the waves, to roll and dive and jump and dance with this energy, losing all fear, worrying not whether your heart is even open, but simply paying attention, moment by moment by moment. For the Creator is in that moment, and in you, and in those with whom you dance. Therefore judge not yourself, test not yourself, and do not be concerned that it does not seem that your heart has been so open for a while. My brother, sometimes in the dance, the movements are so fast, and you are still sometimes learning the steps, and consequently, it shall seem as though you have lost that realization. We can assure you that you have not. Even now, as we speak to you, feel the opening of your heart. Feel the love in the moment. It flows through you. You are not responsible for producing it. You are only responsible for patiently, again and again, when you sense your contraction around a trigger, around pain, around suffering, beginning to do that work of remembrance that releases fear so that you remember who you are and why you are here. You are a child of the one infinite Creator, and you came here to create a space through which light may flow in order that you may help enlightening the consciousness of planet Earth. We thank you for your service, and we assure you that momentary lapses in the infinite flowing of catalysts and responses do not keep you from your work. You are on mission and on task, and you may have faith in yourself. There shall come another full tide, and your heart shall once again be awash in utter love. And then, once again, there shall come those seasons of testing, and even those dark nights of the soul. And all of this is part of the process of tempering, honing, and making more flexible the spirit within. Each time that you dismantle a trigger and instead gaze at the Creator within one who is blessing you by attempting to do you harm, you become calmer and stronger and more able to see the truth beyond the illusions of the mirrors that are so distorted and so shadowed. We are those of Quo, and would ask at this time, my brother, if there is a follow-up to that query before we move forward. Jim, and in parentheses, D is relaying his questions over the telephone. The follow-up is, would it be possible to provide a progression of spiritual milestones, starting with the initial awakening? We are those of Quo, and we believe we are aware of your query, my brother. As we have already intimated, it is not precisely possible to express a simple recipe or agenda of the spiritual life. We would say that you may expect it to be cyclic. The self before incarnation, together with the higher self, plans the basic themes of an incarnation according to the clear sight one has beyond the veil. One tends to be looking for balance. Especially with those who are wanderers, there is often this seeking to balance love and wisdom. Perhaps the heart is too open, and you seek wisdom to balance it. Or perhaps, and this is often true of fifth density wanderers, there is a great wisdom And there is the request of the self that the open heart be more in balance with that great wisdom, so that wisdom becomes compassion. There is also the dynamic of power and its right use. Each entity is unique. No two entities are looking for precisely the same balance. What they have in common before coming into incarnation is that themes are planned. Incarnational lessons are planned so that they cycle again and again into your life. We do not know and cannot say if this challenge to your open heart is part of the incarnational lesson of keeping the heart open while balancing it with your great wisdom. We can only suggest that there is something of this nature, this level of profundity, which shall bring such catalyst to you again and again throughout your life. For you see the life before incarnation as a term in school. Yes, I shall learn this. I shall read this subject. I shall study this topic. And you know that, even though there is that feeling of being in boot camp. When one actually is in incarnation and dealing with these incarnational lessons, that progress that you make within the veil is thousands of times the amount of change that you can affect within your deep soul when you are not in third density incarnation. It is truly the refining fire. Consequently, you cannot, unfortunately, for the peace of your life and your mind, open first the red ray chakra, then the orange ray, then the yellow ray, then the green ray, then work with the throat chakra and work on communication, and then move into work in consciousness. That would be, in general, the direction of your spiritual life. However, always, every day, you must look back to the red ray chakra and begin all over again. Because it is likely that within the compass of the day, you have had triggers in those first three chakras. When there is a concern with work, the energy that is triggered is generally coming from the yellow ray chakra. Yet one cannot assume that either. One must sweep the entire body, from red to indigo, each day, and clear and clear and clear it out. We can, however, assure you that as you become more used to viewing your experiences from a certain point of view, in which you are almost, as this instrument would say, playing the game of life, you will find that your witnessing self becomes ever stronger. And your keen appetite to take on such experiences as the coworker being cruel to you becomes so strong that you find yourself with the balm of Gilead at your hand. And you are not caught up in the negative feelings that surround that cruel action that has been done to you, but rather you're dancing with the energies that would keep your heart open and would see Him, even though it seems almost impossible, as the Creator, as part of you, and you part of Him or part of her. There may come a time with an incarnation when you balance at the gateway to intelligent infinity, seeing your life as a whole thing, one integrated entirety, and as part of the Godhead principle, it may well come to you and say, and this is good. Hold those moments dear and remember them because they are the truth. And then you shall plunge back again into cycles. We wish we could give you the good news that one's work is hard and yet finally it is done. Yet within incarnation, your agenda shall always be to attend to the present moment and dance with it with love. We are those of Quo, and would ask if there is a follow-up to that query or whether you would wish to go forward. Jim. I've had dreams regarding the 8th chakra, the one above the crown chakra. My most recent dream told me that the 8th chakra is about aligning my will with the will of the Creator. That with the opening of the 8th chakra, we are better able to understand the will of the Creator, and so we can more easily make clear choices that are aligned with the will of the Creator. From a dream last year, it is my understanding that my 8th chakra will be getting activated when I visit the Rosslyn Chapel in January. Is there any truth in this? What method could I utilize to be in better tune with the will of the Creator? Any information that does not infringe upon my free will would be appreciated. We are those of Quo, and believe we grasp your query. If we do not respond fully, we would ask you to re-question, my brother. Terminology is crucial, and yet it is difficult to pin down equivalencies. We make this observation because, rather than calling that which we believe you mean the 8th chakra, we would call it a gateway to intelligent infinity. This gateway is that point where you, as an individual within incarnation, are able to vibrate in harmony and sometimes in congruency with the energies of the one infinite creator. It is through the gateway to intelligent infinity that you are able to access and bring into your awareness the inspiration and the information which you need. However, none of this energy has anything to do with the intellect. The information to which we refer is that kind of knowing which this instrument would call gnosis, or direct apprehension. When one is able to quiet the self, and to get the energy of the energy body flowing at its maximum so that the heart is open, then one is able to do work in consciousness, moving through the blue ray of absolute honesty and the indigo ray of being. As one sits within that open energy body and places the intention with which you seek to enter the gateway to intelligent infinity, the gateway will open in such and such a way because of your intention. Consequently, we would say to you, my brother, that as you approach these times of seeking in sacred places, that you set your intention specifically and with all your heart, all your mind, and all your strength, so that the opening through that gateway is that which you would wish. The gifts of the gateway of intelligent infinity are many. There are those who open it in order to become channels for healing. There are those whose reason for opening it is to become channels for the love and the light of the one infinite creator. There are those who wish to teach. There are those who wish to write, or dance, or to sing. Whatever your hope in working with this gateway, it is well to approach it with every fiber of your being tuned to your desire. There are areas of your query which we cannot penetrate because of the possible infringement on your free will. And you may predict that we would say that, rather than these instances being permanent. They are opportunities for the creation of a magical moment or event. You will not be able to hold this. You will be able only to experience this and then remember this. There are those of the yogic and Hindu paths who believe that it is possible to attain realization, so that never again is there a single human thought that disturbs the tenor of your peace. There are those within the Christian church who have also created this picture, or this vision of the way things are in the spiritual realm. My brother, it may well be for one entity out of a million that there is a realization so profound that the rest of the lifetime is ineffably altered. Yet we would rather offer you our humble opinion that there shall be the waves of experience that offer you all that you wish in a moment, and then that tide will go out, and there shall be a change in your vibratory level, for the simple reason that in your natural energies there is the ebb and flow of many emotions and the responses to many experiences that shall call you away from that moment. It is our opinion, my brother, that this is a good thing. For while leaving you in less peace, it leaves you in an emptiness and a humility that opens you to the next experience, the next wave, the next time of harvest and the reaping of the fruits of your desire. We would rather encourage you to celebrate the many seasons of your spiritual life, just as you celebrate your birthdays. We are those of Quo, and would ask if there is a follow-up to this query, or if there is a final query at this time. Jim. I've been working on making more consistent contact with extraterrestrial life forms. I've had some limited success. My method so far has been to quiet my mind into theta waves, attempt to keep a steady focus and frequency, and to project out my consciousness in a call for contact. It is my perception that my lack of ability to maintain a steady focus and frequency hinder my success. Is this true? Regardless, what methods can I utilize in order to become more successful in my contact work? We are those of Quo, and are aware of your query, my brother. May we confirm those observations which you have made concerning your attempts to contact those from elsewhere. We would also confirm your judgment concerning the situation as regards the limitations of working alone when attempting to offer yourself to a universal contact. Our response would be in two parts. Firstly, the safe and secure area of contact from the world of spirit is that contact with your higher self, which is reliably possible and always achievable without any concern for your personality shell's integrity. In order to contact this higher self, or this oversoul, or as this instrument would call it, the Holy Spirit, we would recommend the journaling method as being most productive and efficient. In this method, you simply sit at your computer or sit with a paper and pen and write your question. Then immediately, at your next thought, write that thought down, without asking whether it came from you or whether it did not. The preparation for this journaling is, as you said, to calm your mind. We would not offer you the encouragement to find a specific state of consciousness, such as theta, but would rather encourage you to tune yourself as if you were an instrument. Whether that tuning that is effective to you would be in singing, chanting, praying, or simply sitting in silent meditation, we do not know and cannot say. However, such tuning, as you will find satisfaction in doing, brings you to your highest and best self and clears the way for a good contact. The second part of our response has to do with attempting to receive information or inspiration from beyond the gateway to intelligent infinity. It is our practice to teach those who would wish to be instruments for the Confederation in groups, with a senior channel who has had enough experience to be able to, as this instrument would say, watch the backs of those in the circle. For you see, my brother, there is the problem of there being a very crowded universe, full of entities in the unseen realms, some mischievous, some positive, some angelic, and some who wish to distract you from the light, to deceive you, and even to break up your earthly personality shell, so that they may reap your suffering and pain. To work with universal context without a group is like attempting to light a flashlight with the wrong kind of battery, something that is too small, something that is not adequate. It can be done, but it is not reliable, nor is the information gained from such contact reliable. Consequently, we would encourage you, if you would wish to pursue being an instrument for universal sources, to find that group which you trust, that senior channel which you trust, and to set yourself to the slow process of learning how to accept concepts. That which is universal is much like that which is in your roots of consciousness in your archetypal mind. It will not speak to you in words. It will offer you concepts. These concepts are infinite. They have to be translated into words if you wish to use them in offering yourself as an instrument. So as an instrument, you're basically asking to be a translator of concepts into the language that you use every day. As this instrument has said many times, much is lost in the translation from infinite concept to finite language. There are many who prefer to retain concepts in their infinite form and to rest in that infinity without attempting to make the translation. And to those mystics, many flock who wish only to sit next to that energy which is holding those infinite concepts. May we say how beautiful we feel your desire to seek and to serve the one infinite Creator is. We wish you every joy, every success, all that you wish as you continue to seek. This instrument's energy wanes, as does this group's, and so we begin to withdraw now, encouraging you as we do so to seek the silence on a regular basis. For in that silence, even though you are conscious, all of the information of the unconscious of the Creator itself lies. Oh, I see. Okay. Take two. For in that silence, even though you are conscious, all of the information of the unconscious of the Creator itself lies. That lies in the silence. That's what they're saying. However, you can come to that tabernacle of silence. We encourage the practice. For with meditation comes an awareness that cannot be expressed but can only be appreciated. We are known to you as the principle of Quo. We leave you as we found you, in the love and in the light of the one infinite Creator. Thank you for the privilege of sharing our thoughts. Adonai, Adonai Vasu.